Contrary to the claim of Senator Risa Hontiveros in her privilege speech, I was targeted. I was singled out and it was premeditated. Ako po ay pinili, pinagbalakan, pinagplanuhan at pinagtulong-tulungang magawan ng masama. How so? The precise timing of the taking or shooting of the photograph, the accuracy and detail of the image taken, and the strategically chosen vantage point all indicate that the media person being referred to intentionally focused his camera or her camera and used the same with intention to intercept and capture my private text messages. Mr. Chair, not only was I targeted, I was only the subject of a conspiracy and the so-called media person and Senator Risa Hontiveros to take and intercept, absent any authority, pictures of the screen of my cellular phone and the message therein. One cannot fault my humble and average intellect if I conclude that the connivance between the media person and Senator Risa Hontiveros is very much present from the former's act of immediately giving the aforementioned photographs to Senator Risa Hontiveros, which the latter used in her speech on 11 September 2017, or just 6 days from the time the photographs were taken illegally and surreptitiously shot, intercepted and captured. For her part, Senator Hontiveros, with intent to maliciously use it, received the above-mentioned illegally acquired photographs of myself and my phone screen showing an accurate and detailed image of my private text messages. Senator Risa Hontiveros, a public servant who is accountable to a higher yardstick of the proper decorum and of lawful conduct, in evident bad faith, disregarded the patent illegality of the photographs in its contents when she accepted and took possession of the same. Obviously, Mr. Chair, Senator Hontiveros intend to maliciously use the above-mentioned illegally acquired photographs and of myself and of my phone screen showing an accurate and detailed image of my private text messages is apparent from her acceptance and continued possession of the photographs despite its clear illegal nature. Seemingly not contented with what they have done to me, notwithstanding its criminal nature, Senator Hontiveros, in conspiracy, connivance, and community of criminal design with the so-called media person, caused the examination and verification to determine the genuineness and authenticity of the above-mentioned photographs. Senator Hontiveros claimed in her privilege speech that the so-called experts examined, validated the genuineness and the authenticity of the photographs of my cell phone screen, which were feloniously taken without my consent. Apparently, I was completely unaware that such dastardly act was committed against me until September 11, 2017, when Senator Hontiveros delivered her privilege speech in the Senate session hall. As revealed by subsequent events, Senator Hontiveros centered her privilege speech on the pictures of my cell phone screen and the private communications therein which, as already clearly established, were taken illegally and feloniously. Mr. Chair, from the time that Senator Hontiveros has shown the pictures I'm referring to above, she has always claimed that their taking as an act was an act of inadvertence, hindi raw po sinadya. I beg to disagree, Mr. Chair. Ito po ay sinadya at pinagplanuhan, and I can prove it. Mr. Chair, this is the affidavit of Mr. Christopher Malinaw, who will be with us today, which he executed on September 29, 2017. Based on the affidavit of Mr. Christopher Malinaw, is a professional photographer and photography instructor at the Federation of Philippines Photograph Foundation, a non-profit organization that promotes photography in the Philippines and the umbrella organization of camera clubs in the Philippines. Federation of the Philippines Photograph Foundation offers a year-round workshops in basic photography, advanced photography, wedding photography, strobist lighting, food photography, Photoshop, Lightroom, and other specialty photography workshops. Mr. Christopher Malinaw expertise is further established by his regular articles for the Manila Bulletin's Picture Perfect section, a resource for photographers that also features the brightest photography talents in the Philippines. In addition, Mr. Christopher Malinaw has published photography book reviews about publication from US-based publishers. O'Reilly and Rocky Nook writes tutorials in post-processing, specifically Lightroom tutorials and has published there not only in the Manila Bulletin but also in the iMag Photography magazine. As an expert in photography, this is what Mr. Christopher Malinaw has to say on the claimed inadvertence of Senator Risa Hontiveros, her cohorts, and her co-conspirators. Allow me, Mr. Chair, to read this statement into the records of the Honorable Committee. I quote, number 6, that on September 29, 2017, I was invited by Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II, Department of Justice, to give my professional and expert opinion on the photograph of the text message of Secretary Aguirre, which was presented by Senator Risa Hontiveros during her privileged speech at the Senate, copy of which is attached therein as Annex A. That according to Senator Hontiveros, as reflected in the transcript of her privileged speech, the said photographs were inadvertently captured by a photographer at the Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs hearing last September 5, 2017. That the claim of Senator Hontiveros that the said photograph was inadvertently captured is a fantastic claim, as I am 99% sure that it could not have been captured inadvertently. That from the photograph depicting the text message of Secretary Aguirre presented by Senator Hontiveros, the narrowness of the focused area indicates shallow depth of field, which can only be achieved by deliberately setting the camera, and the focus area indicates deliberate focusing on the text message. That the subject photograph was deliberately taken, carefully focused on the text message. This is my professional opinion. Thus, in my professional opinion, the good senator is not correct when she stated that the photograph was taken inadvertently. How do you feel about all this, Mr. Chair? There is no proper words that can capture the level of righteous indignation that I felt and still feel at the desecration and apparent disregard of my constitutional right to privacy. And I'm sure that the Honorable Chairperson and anyone who treasures his or her privacy can relate and also empathize with my feelings of outrage. I condemn to the highest degree the shameless violation of a citizen's right to the privacy of communication. Tunay pong nakalulungkot, nakakabagabag at higit sa lahat nakakatakot ang naganap na pagbaliwala sa aking right to privacy and communication. Isang karapatang protektado mismo ng ating saligang batas noong September 5, 2017 at sa kaganapan noong September 11, 2017. Are my statements and conclusions wrong? Was it really an act of inadvertence? I challenge Senator Hontiveros to prove me wrong by presenting all your media person, the camera or other contraption or contrivance he or she or they use in recording and intercepting in my private communication. Prove me wrong, Senator Hontiveros, by presenting the so-called experts who analyzed and opined on the authenticity of my message in my cell phone screen that was captured, intercepted without my consent and knowledge. Until such things are done, I stand by my claim that I was maliciously targeted. Nakalulungkot po at nakagalit ang mga ito. At ang mga taong ito ay hindi lamang lumabag sa aking mga karapatan at privacy, higit po sa roon ang kanilang ginawa ay hindi na niya o nila ginalang ang komite na ito at ang kaniyang mga panuntunan. Lantaran po ang paglabag na ito, Mr. Chair. Kung nagawang minsan, magagawa at gagawin muli. At higit na nakalulungkot ang posibilidad na pag-ulit laban sa sinuman ng mga resource persons o maging mga mambabatas na rin, kayo na ating mga senador ay totoong nakakabagabag at tunay na nakakatakot. Lahat po ay pwedeng maging biktima, lahat po ay pwedeng biktimahin. Any text or SMS exchanges in our mobile phones, which are part of our private communications, apparently are no longer private. It could be done to me and it could be done to anybody. The claim of inadvertence notwithstanding, my resource person invited to the Senate is now a potential victim. No one can feel safe because no one is safe, not even you, Mr. Chair. I caution everyone, be on the guard at all times. All that any person with an axe to grind against anyone has to do is to claim that a member of the media inadvertently took a picture of text messages in the screen of a targeted person's mobile phone and precipitate its unauthorized release to the public. As I have said, everybody can be targeted. If unpunished and not nipped in the bud, we will all be contributing to the creation of this monster which may become too big to slay later. To the supposed member of the media who evidently disregarded the privacy of any communication, if you do truly exist, I say shame on you. Nakakaya ka kung tunay na member ka ng media o kung tunay ka nga. For the sake of any news, for the sake of a news item for which you cannot and will not claim authorship and responsibility, you prostituted yourself. Any self-respecting member of the media here present should condemn this dastardly act of a supposed brethren in the profession. The media should not let the unscrupulous act of a tainted few destroy the nobility and the purity that is still present in the majority of its ranks. While the media should be a sentinel of truth, it should not be a perpetrator of a wrong or a violator of a person's right. Mr. Chair, beyond the issue of legality is the issue of decency. Anybody who uses the fruits of an unconstitutional or illegal act is bereft of decency. I condemn such act for being unethical, for being unbecoming of a public servant. The public servant will conveniently resort to the protective mantle of privileged speech makes it more despicable and diabolical. It is beyond doubt that, like everyone else, I have reasonable expectation of privacy with regards to my private communications. Certainly, even before proceedings in these august halls of the Senate, I do not expect that my private messages be photographed by anyone, or have I allowed anyone to intercept the same. The right to the inviolability of one's privacy as guaranteed by the Bill of Rights of the Constitution does not make any distinction whether I'm in private or in public places. Where do I go from here, Mr. Chair? I have categorically and consistently maintained that I will not take this obvious criminal act and malicious affront to my person sitting down. Those responsible must be held accountable fully and totally under existing laws. Today, earlier, I have filed a criminal complaint for violation of Public Act 4200 for the Anti-Wiretapping Act against Senator Hontiveros, John Doe, Peter Dose, for 3 counts of violation of Republic Act 4200 before the office of the City Prosecutor of Pasay City. Likewise, I view the act of Senator Hontiveros as unethical and very unbecoming of a public servant. Resultantly, I filed a case against her before the Senate Ethics Committee. As I've said, what can be done to me can be done to anyone. It must be nipped in the bud, condemned and punished. In closing, please allow me, Mr. Chair, to state that I do not waive my right to raise, as I am now raising, the illegality and the inadmissibility of my admission of the subject text changes in these honored halls of the Senate or in any other venue or forum. Nobody but nobody should be allowed to profit from committing an unconstitutional and illegal act, not even a senator of the Republic. Any act or series of acts that will emanate from such an unconstitutional and illegal act do not even deserve his country regard and should be treated as non-existent, and if invoked or raised by anybody should be slain at sight. Thank you, Mr. Chair.